What's up? What's up? Good morning, good evening, good night, good afternoon, whatever time you're listening in, wherever you're listening from. This is another episode of I Will Not Lose podcast. Let's take a moment. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here right now. Let's take a moment, be present, recognize that it's now, right now. Whether your right now is working, running, driving, flying, recording your first remote pod in Nazareth.
There you go.
Let's be grateful we're alive, baby.
Yes. Thank you for being here.
Failure can be frightening. Yeah, man. Remember, failure can be frightening, but as Winston Churchill reminds us, success is all about going from failure to failure without losing enthusiasm. This is I Will Not Lose podcast, where we set out to prove everything is learned from failure. We must recognize it as one step closer to success. I'm your host, Tony Ortiz. We're joined by Carter McKinney, man. What's up?
Hey, good morning. Thank you for bringing the podcast here. I know that this is a little different. It's on location. Normally, I think you do it at your home office. And yeah, it's like 9, 10 a.m. here. So we got the day started on Friday.
Yeah, man. We're in the beautiful Northeast, Pennsylvania. So I was looking back a little bit. You're from Pittsburgh originally.
Yes.
So you rep Pittsburgh or Bethlehem?
No, so I kind of rep like PA, born and raised, because I left Pittsburgh when I was like under 5, so I was like very young. But so I've been here the majority of my life. I'm 23, about to turn 24. But yeah, my whole thing is like PA, born and raised, because I do travel, not to like California or anything yet or overseas, but like Florida, Atlanta, Texas, stuff like that, and that's always PA. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Presenting. Big shout out to Quasa the artist. He's doing the same thing, videography around California. He's been shooting stuff all around Texas. So
Word. I want to get to Cali. It seems so cool.
Yeah, I haven't been there as well. I got an artist from Cali on the show next week. Shout out to Devin Haley.
Hey, shout out.
The episode will drop in a little bit. So you got out here. I was really fascinated with your story, and you've always sparked me. I saw you on Facebook and putting some stuff out and really just representing the entrepreneur hustle. You do this full time. You work super hard, from photography to video to putting together photo parties. I met you at a few of the photo parties. Why don't you tell the guys about that venture?
Okay, so yes, guys. A little bit about me. Like I said, I was like Tony said, I'm from Pittsburgh. I lived in Bethlehem for like over 15 years. I've been in business for about 5 years. So I went to Liberty High School, and then I graduated from Bethlehem Catholic, and then I went to Northampton Community College. I went there for a year, studied biology and business administration. Was trying to go the college route, but play it safe by going to community college. And then I decided it wasn't for me. My grandfather was an entrepreneur as well. He went to Lehigh to be an engineer, and then he ended up owning his own business, for engineering things. And he taught me a lot of what I know, just as a man and as a business person. And then I carry a lot of that stuff into my work every day. As Tony was saying, I have this event called the Photo Party. It's one of my events that I do with my partners. So the Photo Party started as a networking event for models and photographers, creative people in the tri-state area, to come to Nazareth, Pennsylvania, to my home studio. It's like an open house, and I'll have some vendors and things like that. And it's a, safe space to have fun, be productive, and network. And we've expanded to doing other events as well. So I have a Shop Small holiday market coming up in December 2nd of 2023, whenever you're watching this. And that is going to be the biggest event ever. We're going to do over 25 vendors, over 150 people, hopefully. And that's going to be in Allentown. So we're just moving around. We're trying to not just do one location, reach different people and different audiences. It's like a family thing, support creatives, small business, and entrepreneurs.
Super dope, man. Super dope. A lot of people get into one lane when they become an entrepreneur, and they just have, one hustle or one service. How do you find the time to run the full-time business, but also, it's a lot to put together an event?
Yes, it is. So just like Tony and I were talking off camera, we're working overtime. Like it's the holidays, we're working like 12-hour days every day almost. And my girlfriend's an entrepreneur as well. So she owns a salon in Bethlehem. It's called Lovely Faces. Shout out my girl Ashley. She does lashes, brows, skin, things like that. And she has a big space over there. She's doing great, big boss things. But yeah, it is really hard to run, my own full-time business, my team and things like that, as well as events. I have investment partners. I have 6 other guys. We're in an investment group and we do the events together. Shout out, Friendly Have Alley and V Live and DJ Romeo and things like that. We do events almost once a week nowadays. And I also help my girlfriend run her business as well. And my family, of course.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, big shout out to DJ Romeo G. I see him everywhere.
Yeah, he's crazy. Shout out to you, Romeo. Hustler. Wow.
That's what's up. Yeah, I want to get events is always something that I would think would be cool to do. But even just setting up the live production, even just doing this, you help take me out of the shell and get everything set up to take the show on the road. Put the post out this morning that this is kind of the direction I want to move and set it all up. So thank you for helping me do the first use case, man. We're locking it in history.
Absolutely. First on location pod. I will not lose. Bah. Good morning. Yep.
We got to do big shout out to Lawrence Wright as well at the Barber Pill.
Yes.
You guys partnered up. He's the official barber.
Yes. So I basically have this thing going where I had the lady that does my hair, my barber, and, my girlfriend, my DJ. I have the official, everything of McKinney Media. That's my business if I didn't introduce it. And yeah, so as a marketer, it's natural for me to partner with certain people and put their business out there as I'm traveling. And I consider myself like a serial networker, and as I'm traveling, I'm always trying to sell, the different services that I use, the companies, the people, and just kind of spread that out. Affiliate marketing.
That's super dope, man. What sort of philosophies? You had hit me with a quote when we were off camera about, you want to hit them with the quote?
Yeah. So quote of the day, you guys. So it's one I love. It's just, I call it, let your footsteps be either invisible or golden. So when you come into a space or, a situation or, being in another person's space like Tony today, leave that better than you found it. Or the same, you know what I mean? Don't come into a space or a situation or whatever, leaving it worse. Whether it's physically leaving a space dirty or, whatever it is, or just bringing bad energy or bad vibes. If you have anxiety, if you have stress, if you have, a problem or you're upset or angry, or a stereotype or something like that, just leave it at the door. You know what I mean? You don't know who this person is. You don't know what kind of day they're having. You know what I mean? You might have had a situation with one, person or a woman or whatever it may be, or a business or whatever it may be, but you don't know who this person is. So give them a chance.
Wise words, man. Wise words. I think it's important to have some sort of philosophy or something that drives your business, some sort of key thing. I know for me with Tony Ortiz, the designer, was integrity. And that's one thing for the 15 years I've been doing it. I'm always okay, nobody's watching. Am I being on point with my time logs? Am I being realistic with when I'm spending my time, that I'm working efficiently? I always think that being an entrepreneur is kind of like a personal development. When I went through my 20s and interviewed and talked to a bunch of successful entrepreneurs in their late 60s or 70s, I didn't meet a single one that at least didn't admit it, to screwing over a whole bunch of people in order to get where they were. It was always based on some sort of integrity or networking or adding value to their network, and then it reciprocates itself. That's worked well for me. I'm not switching it up. I don't know. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I think that integrity is very important in business. When no one's watching, you want to be doing the right thing, because there's a lot of people that are strong people, but there's a lot of people that are also, they have different characteristics. Like they're more delicate, they're more sensitive, and you don't want to stomp on those people. You don't want to take advantage. I kind of live my life trying to donate my time and services and finances to people, to protecting and serving those kind of people. So yeah, I think integrity is very important. What I live by in my business is, share quality with your community. That's my slogan. Do quality in everything that you do. Invest in your equipments, in your skill set, in your character. Like right now I'm in a phase of my life where I'm kind of heavier, like I'm a heavier weight, and my girlfriend, she goes to the gym like 3-4 times a week and whatever. So it's made me think, like, and her personal trainer is always in my face like, oh, come work out with us. And whenever I try to pitch like a gym or personal trainer client, they're always trying to be like, oh, come work out, or we can't work with you, basically. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, like I'm kind of focused on my business and my finances and my character and other things. Like I know that health is important, but I've kind of been focusing on other stuff, and I feel like that's totally okay.
Hey man, it's okay. I've gone through, I don't know if you've seen pictures of me. I used to be 60 pounds heavier.
Oh shit, no.
Twice in my life, I was up to close to 240. And then twice I lost 50, 60 pounds. And now I'm at like 190 or something like that. But so I can tell you how to do it right. I can tell you how to do it wrong. My listeners know I have a background as a District 11 wrestler, and we do some horrible things to our body and like sucking weight and stuff. I'll never go back to that. But I can tell you, man, diet's the most important. Like if you can't get to exercise, and I used to run 3 miles every day, 5 days a week. Like it's not exercise. I can tell you, at least for my body, you could exercise like crazy. It's going to make you hungry and you're going to eat calories, versus if you just switch some things, cut out the bread, cut out things like that. But no, man, I'll help encourage you with stuff. You just take little steps.
Yeah. It's here and there, drink more water and, do different stuff.
Yeah, I was always like, man, I'm too high. I got to go and run. And then I would get obsessed, and like next 3 years I'd be running. So I don't say to do that.
Yeah, I used to run a lot too, like jogging, running. And there was one summer when I lost like 20 pounds alone in just a few weeks. But yeah, man, I definitely want to get back into like fitness and, exercising and being a healthier person overall, and even like going to therapy. I think this month or last month was like it's like mental health awareness month or something, possibly.
This month is National Alzheimer Awareness. So it's a bit of mental health.
Okay.
I think March or May is mental health awareness.
Okay.
But yeah, man, that's something I preach for heavy. Like I was just at therapy this week. Feel great. I've been working with professionals just in that aspect for years. Like the goal is not to be in it forever, but there's always something you can better yourself. And it's somebody that holds you accountable for stuff that's not going to like, even I'm biased as your friend or as your colleague. I'll be biased with something. Their job is to be completely unbiased. So it's like a sounding board and stuff. But I got recommendations for some good people too, if you want to talk to them. Yeah,
word. I really want to get into that because I feel like just as we're talking about health and fitness and things like that, and even like financial health, if you will, therapy, is something that I think falls in that wheelhouse as well. That's been underrepresented historically. And I definitely want to participate in that. And just grow, you know what I mean? Like grow my mind, grow my heart, grow my, spirit and all kinds of different things.
Yeah, man, you got to grow your energy. And a big part of it is gratitude. Yeah, that I've found.
3 things you're grateful for like every single day, or at least whenever you can think about it. Right now we're filming this in November. Thanksgiving, I believe, is next week. And I always say throughout the whole year, I try to be very hyper aware of, the fact that Tony took his time out today. He could have been working. He could have been with his family. He could have been, having fun. He could have been catching up on sleep or work. And he was here filming. So thank you. Thank you for coming today. And,
yeah, man.
just the fact that you don't want to take people's time for granted. Time is the only true currency that you can never get back. And it's so important. And being thankful for things, even not on Thanksgiving, even not on Christmas, even in a tough situation. My girlfriend and I, for a while, every single day waking up, hey babe, what are 3 things you're thankful for? So yeah, very important.
Heck yeah, man. I worked with, shout out to Clay Green. I worked with a coach the one time. That's another thing. If you can get a chance to work with a mentor or a business coach, it's so huge in professional development. But we had done a lot of work with flow and getting yourself into that state where, your brain's not thinking. It's like the state that a skateboarder's in before, Tony Hawk does the 900. Like, your brain has to turn off and your body just goes, and you can channel that into your work, with your skills, things like that. But he had taught me a lot about gratitude, and he asked me, what's something you're grateful for? And I was like, my wife. He's like, that's the easiest. Like, how are you going to take your wife, like the love of your life? That's easy to be grateful for. He's like, how about that pencil? Like that tool that you have on your desk. I'm like, the pencil, I don't know, it didn't feel anything to me, but then something clicked with me where I'm like, oh my gosh, just my headphones, when I push play, I'm like, thank you for this creator for making music that I can hear and be in this vibe right now. Thank you for the photography, like that's why even when I'm working on my stuff, it's like, I don't want to put out crap. Like I'm way better at not being a perfectionist, but somebody's going to view this and somebody's going to see it. And if it makes a smooth transition for their eyes and somebody says, wow, that's beautiful, even if they just like it on Facebook and keep scrolling, like
you were a part of their day. That was a privilege to do that.
Exactly. Just got to care about stuff you do, man.
Yeah, exactly. Like put your everything into it. Like a lot of the times what I'm thinking about is being remembered. Like that, what's my biggest fear? Not being remembered. You know what I mean? Like having work that outlives you and, it lives in museums and, different art galleries and things like that. That is so fire. And just me personally, I'm an entrepreneur and a business person as much, if not more, than being a creative person. I am a photographer, but I'm a business person. And I love playing, best of both worlds. You know what I mean? I dress it up, I dress it down. I do work at home. I do work on location, local and afar, and all kinds of things. And I have white family, I have black family, all kinds of stuff. I love that I had a conversation with my sister. Me and my sister aren't always the closest, but this was a moment where we really understood each other. She said, growing up because I'm Jamaican and white. So growing up half white, half black, and also, just doing creative work and all different kinds of work, it allows us to be a chameleon and really adapt to a bunch of different situations. And I thought that was a very interesting take. And I totally agreed.
I can relate. I was started drafting a book in high school about chameleonism and just the idea that it's not the best thing that I can say or that I've learned personally about that is if you just be yourself, you fit in everywhere.
Exactly. There you go.
Linking together with the equipment. But that's the other thing I'm always super grateful for too, man. It gets easy when you're a creative entrepreneur to be like, why don't I have the tools? Like if you go all the way up to Hollywood, there's always a better tool than what you have. You know what I mean? And we're not talking about thousands of dollars. We're talking about tens of thousands of dollars. So sometimes
hundreds.
Yeah. If you get into like a red or some ridiculous
red dragon Komodo craziness, black magic.
I actually have access to a red though if I want to learn it or use it or something.
Me too.
But it's the sort of thing that if you're not grateful for the tools that you have, you're going to be miserable. Like you're always going to live in the world that you don't have. Like it's nuts. So I could sit there and be like, oh man, we don't have a Black Magic live studio. We don't have a producer to help us with the show. But to just sit there and be like, wow, we built all this. We're able to go on location.
We don't have to show up to a 9 to 5 today because we have the flexibility to be able to be here on a Friday at 10 a.m. and just be working and talking and really sharing real life insights and things like that with you guys. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching wherever you are. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely grateful for listeners. I honestly wonder sometimes would I do the show even if nobody's listening? And the truth is absolutely yes. In fact, I try not to get caught up into who's listening or who just sees the clips.
Because you're listening too. You're listening too. You know what I mean? As you're doing it.
Yeah, it's actually, it's funny. I'll shout out my therapist again. We talked about it before I started the show on whether or not. And I'm like, what's the worst that could happen? Once a week, I try to tell people to think about success in terms of failures and the step towards it and not as something unachievable that they'll never get. Just in the past year, my mentality of reinforcing that and taking notes and thinking about real life world examples on how we can flip it. And then even just giving a voice to, like a lot of guests that I have, like the Tug McGraw interview. I'm a huge Tug fan. I've been for years and stuff. So to be able to provide a platform for him to promote his newest body of work, that was like a dream come true. That's like super dope. Meeting you with the photo party and coming in. I remember I walked in and you guys were recording a podcast in here. I'm like, this is a cool space. And it was like a rainy Saturday.
It was a Sunday and it was like flooding rain, and I sold like 60 tickets, but I had only 35 people show up. It was actually still a good turnout because all the vendors made money, we all made connections, and it was fantastic. It was the first one, but then the second one, we had about 70 people show up, and it was like, wow, like it was a Saturday this time, and we're learning and we're developing, and the vendors made like even more money this time. And then now, because that's what it's all about. I don't make a ton of profit on the events. I probably lose money on the events. But for me, it's about something that's something that people will remember. A safe space to have fun, to be productive, to network, to be creative, to ask questions, to expose certain thoughts and share certain things. I buy free pizza, stuff like that. So if you're local, please come by to the photo party or one of my events. Sometimes we have nighttime stuff. Sometimes we do brunches. We do all different kinds of things. And shout out to Tony for coming through. He's came through to both of my photo parties and done videos for both that were fantastic and that I upload to my YouTube and share. So yeah, thank you for that. They're fantastic. And Tony does a lot of logo work for me and, my clients and family and things. So
you just reminded me, I do owe you that logo. I'm gonna get that knocked out after the show.
No rush. I'm not going anywhere. We're here for the long haul.
And then you got a busy day today. You got another live show.
Like any minute that someone's going to be walking in to do another podcast or live stream. Hopefully we can all do something together. Shout out to my people on TikTok live over there. I love studio days. I try to pack them up from like 9 a.m. to like 6. I am going to step out and get my hair done at some point today. But other than just because it was like the only day before Thanksgiving because she's super booked.
You going to Lawrence? Or are you getting your hair done?
Yeah, retwisted up. And then I got Lawrence on Monday. So
you might have to introduce me to your hair person. I think I'm going to start growing it back out again. I got to show you old pictures.
How so? Like braids or
twisties? I want to start with little
like
twists. Locks? Maybe I'll start with like baby locks, but I don't know if I want to commit to growing them all out. But I'm like a all or nothing, like. I was like, I'm just going to get some mics and talk. A year later, we're going live on location with the SM7B. Yeah. It's the way I go. So if I start it, I'm probably going to get into and then just grow them until they're too long. But my wife agreed. She's like, you've been looking like this for like 15, 20 years.
Change it up.
Like, yeah. And for a while when I had long hair, I still dreamed, like even after I cut it, when I would dream, I would have long hair. So it's just something like it feels like, cool. And I would be playing with it in my dream and then I'd wake up and be like sad. So it's like a part of my identity. I don't know. It's like
you're going to go into the hair appointment and be like, I have a dream.
Yeah. Right. Do it just like I had it last night in my dream. Put something together. But I just love shout out. That's another thing. Photographers, artists, graphic designers get the shout outs, but shout out to the cosmetologists, barbers. That's a crazy grind.
Yeah. It is.
esthetician, anything like that.
Yeah, and I've been getting into like a lot of charitable work and nonprofit stuff, and I came across this organization that's called Operation Address the Homeless. Shout out to Tommy and his team out in Allentown on 7th Street. I lived out there for a year in Allentown, right a couple blocks away, and never knew it was there. So they have these freezers and fridges and, you know, like shelves and hangers full of clothes for homeless people experiencing homelessness and displaced people. And honestly, it was so beautiful. Like, I got invited to come by, and, you know, we walked in the front door all the way through the back. They have like the laminate wood floors. It's two levels, 2 floors. We walked upstairs. There's a barber room with 2 chairs and mirrors, full setup. And like, I don't know if you guys ever seen the videos online, and it's not about the videos. It's not for the clout, but just the being able to see that, the fact that they took someone that was homeless with like real long hair or whatever, and like cutting it and, you know, giving them a fresh cut, and like seeing the transformation. I always thought that was so cool. So I would try to get Lawrence to do some of that. I asked him about it.
That's super cool. Yeah. I did see that video. Shout out to a couple people I saw on my feed. And that's what's dope. You know, I go down my feed and it's not, I don't know if we're just getting older. It's not people in the club. It's all people doing stuff. I think I kind of subconsciously attracted higher energy people. I don't want to say higher energy. Like, I don't know, just people doing stuff.
Okay.
You scroll down your feed and it's like, okay, that person's helping the homeless. That person's working with the school. Yeah. This person's working on their doctorate. It's like, it's really cool to see, you know, and be part of that network.
That's a good touch point that we could go to, because, you know, I was just talking to my sister. She's going through a kind of tough time in her life. She, you know, went to school for a while in Atlanta, and she had a tough relationship, and all of it, she's out of all of it now. And she's kind of like, what do I do? And how do I get up every day? And like, she's going through some bad mental health stuff too. And I'm just telling her that, you know, you have to really go out and have tunnel vision. Like, it's so hard. You know what I mean? Like, the concept that no one's going to look out for you but you is limiting, but in certain ways it is true. You know what I mean? It can be a cold way to look at the world, because there's great people and, you know, neighbors that'll help and random strangers and things like that. But at the same time, you do have to just look out for yourself. You do have to tone stuff out. You do have to say no, and you do have to be selfish sometimes. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? Something that's sometimes hard for me. I'm a giver. Like, I just want to give all my time. I want to give it away for free, and I want to do it really well.
Super hard.
But yeah, you know, you have to, there's balance to all things.
I saw one thing that struck me on that note, but said never lower your prices to get a sale, because it devalues the people who are paying your full price.
Yeah.
Your full price, you know? So that's something I try to work into business and all that sort of thing. But so you've been in business 5 years. What's the next step? Did you write like a 5-year business plan? Did you write like a 10-year plan? Are you rewriting a plan?
No, I didn't write down a plan, and I am someone that would probably be expected to do that. But no, I didn't do that just yet. I sat down with someone, and they were asking me, you know, where do you want to be when you're 30, which would be 7 years from now for me. And I said, you know, it was funny because I'm not going to say who it is, but I sat across from this guy. So he basically is someone that you could consider competition. He is a big marketing agency in the area. And I sat with him and we got breakfast, and I sat across from him, and he was like kind of getting in my face. He was like, you know, all this stuff. And I was like, normally I like to consider myself a strong person, not like strong physically, but like, you know, whatever. I'm not going to take shit. But like, I kind of welcomed it, because it's like, if you're going to be strong with me and firm, like, I actually get that. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, dude, like, you know, you want to be a provider for your woman. You want to be a provider and have kids and have a home. And, you know, I told him that I wanted to make $100,000. And here's the reason for that. And I don't mean to take in that in my business and all of my ventures, but just for me. And it's not even about the number. It's about the fact that I don't need $1 million in my account every year. I want to give away more than I take in, if that makes sense. You know, like, it's not about how much I'm making or whatever. It's about how much I give, honestly, because when I was hearing about wealthy people and billionaires and stuff, people in, low and, middle class, they'll talk about how much they make, but I'm trying to talk about how much I give away. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's all about impact.
I have heard that in circles of, and you're not talking about like millionaires and stuff. You're talking about like wealthy people. Like that's all they talk about is how much they give.
And it's not about the money even, man. It's like, it would be great to say that I impacted 1 billion people instead of like, oh, I'm a billionaire. You know what I mean? And I've had the privilege of hearing and capturing 1 billion stories. You know what I mean?
Stuff well, you like do that. You do it with the photography and you do it with your service.
I want to take it. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm trying to take it from just it being me to like really like almost like making an Uber style app for photography where it's like re-navigating the way that you think about it. And,
would that still have you be accessible to the people that like one thing I always try to keep in mind is like accessibility with my pricing. You know what I mean? Like just so because the skill could be at this, or like even if you Google what are the average rates for graphic design, and they'll tell you a starting rate is this. I'm lower than that, but people can get corporate quality photography from you. That headshot, you don't understand, that could get somebody an interview, that could get them a job, that could change their whole life.
Exactly.
And if they can't get that unless they have, $700 an hour or something ridiculous, which might not even be ridiculous. I don't know rates like that. But, I mean, you gotta at least, I think it's very important to be grateful for what you are doing and who you can help, and have that passion, have that goal. Like, I'm going to touch this many people, but you don't get to choose, at least in my experience, you don't get to choose who you influence and who you do stuff. Like most of the most influential stuff I've done, I was doing just being myself, and that's how it inspired someone else. But like the podcast, I'm like, hey, people can take something, and people do come to me. They're like, I get something from every episode. I listen to every episode. I'm like, bet I'm going to keep doing it and keep going from there and stuff like that. But the amount of people you help on the way, they say money doesn't make you anything but more the person you were you had before it. So like, if I make sure if I have $5 in my wallet, I'm going to tip somebody, that's not going to change when I have money. I may just tip more. Like, I don't know. I think you're doing a phenomenal job, and I think that you're helping people where you need to help. I don't even think you're all that accessible, but your value is definitely higher than your price. And that's a good place to be.
Yeah. And so I did the retainer model where I'm pretty sure you do it now, but I had the retainer model where, I'm basically an employee, but I'm a 1099, and, I work with this client every single day, every week, every month, and I get a guaranteed check at the beginning of the month, and it was a nice one. But that tied up my work so much. I didn't do any of these events. I didn't get to spend time with as many people as I do. I probably wouldn't be able to be here right now. And it was really, at first I was like, okay, I don't give a fuck that I'm not working with them anymore or not doing it. But then it was like, damn, like that was a lot of money and that was nice. Like I missed that and I need to replace this money. I'm like starving. But then, just like we were talking about earlier, I had a price of like $500 an hour for photography, and I'd get paid it. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, not all the time, a couple times a month, right? But then I made the hard decision because my freelance business was really struggling. I wasn't getting enough bookings, and the economy is starting to be, kind of not as good. And I lowered my price to $200 an hour. That's what it's at now. And I get to work with all kinds of different people. I get booked a lot more frequently, and it makes a lot more sense for my business. And that was a tough conversation to have with myself and with my team, because I was like, oh my God, like, how am I supposed to, hire another photographer under me and still get my percentage inside of $200? You know what I mean? Like, groceries are so expensive. Like, my grocery bills are at least $250 a month. You know what I mean? Like, it's just everything is so expensive and so high. And yeah, man, like, I felt like, man, like Mercedes-Benz and Rolls-Royce and all these big brands that I'd aspire to have similarities to in certain ways, they wouldn't lower their price. They wouldn't do that. But I guarantee that they've had to in some cases. You know what I mean? Not like doing a Black Friday sale, but like lowering their price in general. You know what I mean? And the economy switches and businesses switch and clienteles and different things, seasons. And I think they totally do switch. So I'm hoping for the best with it. It's doing great right now. I'm so happy with my business. So it's been really successful. And I appreciate all the love and you coming here.
Yeah, man, definitely. I need a gratitude button. I don't even know what these buttons do. I think if we hit them, there'll be like a laugh track or something. Let's not hit anything. It might blow up the podcast. Yeah. But no, I want to grow that sort of stuff, put it together. There's definitely, I'm grateful for guests and just the fact that I created something. That's what my post said earlier. I've got 3 interviews this week. I only drop every other week, so we're booked out to like January. This might come out in December or sometime in January.
Yeah, my birthday is January 6th, so maybe around that
shout out to Capricorns.
Yeah.
I'm January 12th.
Oh, shit, word.
So we might have to do a photo party right around like the 10th
so
or
I'm
something
planning
like
an
that.
event. I'm trying to do something on Friday the 5th, so the day before in Lehigh Valley. I always go to like New York or some other city with like family for like a family dinner, and then I'll get like a hotel and stuff like that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna do an event on Friday, the day before my birthday.
Man.
Then wake up on my birthday and go to the city.
That'd be dope. That'd be super dope. I try to do more celebrating. Like I did something stupid. I took myself out to Red Robin or something. I just told myself, order anything on the menu, like just go from there. And just as I'm eating the food, I'm thinking, and I pray a lot. I do a lot. Like, I'm so much different than I was in my 20s. And I feel like that's why I finally caught my stride. Like, I'm really living the stuff. I don't create a show and have to. This is the thing that I love. I don't have to pretend to be somebody I'm not. The reason why I have rappers, doctors, entrepreneurs, recovering addicts is because I really connect with these people. They're in my network. So they're able to come on, have a conversation with me. Nobody's coming and saying, man, I see you're getting 1 million likes, so I want to be part of your show because this can help me promote something or blow something up like that. Everyone's like, I just want to have a conversation. I've had things where technical difficulties have gone wrong, and I had a conversation with a doctor and I'm freaking out like, oh my gosh, I wasted your time. And she's like, we just had a great conversation. It wasn't a waste of time. I may actually still put that one out on audio. I still have the audio, but the video failed. So me being a perfectionist, I'm like, let me hide this from the world. But
well, yeah, it could be like a little bonus feature maybe around the holidays. You put it out on Spotify and things like that. And do a soundbite.
We'll do something dope like that for sure. But you mentioned community and having things in community. I wanted to touch before we land on the plane on your coat drive.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I don't yet have a nonprofit, but I do some nonprofit things. I partner with Lawrence from the Barber Pill. Shout out Lawrence, the official barber of McKinney Media. We did a backpack drive. So little backstory. Lawrence, I reached out to him because I wanted to do stuff. I follow this guy named Luca Brasi. He has a cannabis brand called Gumbo. New York guy, very big personality, and he talks about going into like Times Square. He's a New York guy. He talks about going to Times Square and like giving out millions of dollars, like $1 million or $100,000 worth of toys and computers and TVs to all kinds of people for the holidays. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna start where I can. So, because I was inspired by that, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go and get as many backpacks and school supplies as I can. We raised 50 backpacks full of supplies for the community in Bethlehem, and we gave out those backpacks. And then the coat drive that Tony's talking about is, a season or two, like fall and winter time long coat collection. We have an Amazon registry, for coats, only new stuff. When we're doing charitable work, we only give away stuff that we would really use, or, quality things, nothing used or beaten down or leftovers, none of that. We want to give people good stuff, great stuff, and make them feel a part of the family. The coat drive has been established for quite some time. I didn't have as much engagement with it as I thought, but at my events, I'm going to start having like a stand and a flyer and stuff where I ask people to give, even if it's like $5, $10, and we'll get it going. And I'm trying to get some institutional support too. And hopefully, in the next 3 months, my goal is to start a 501c3, a nonprofit.
There we go. You said the next 3 months?
Yeah.
All right. I'll keep track. Well, that'll be my goal. Get this video out before Valentine's Day.
Yeah, before Valentine's Day. I want to celebrate Valentine's Day with having a nonprofit.
That's super dope. It's not something I thought of doing, but I do donate work to, this is actually the first time saying it publicly, but I donate work to a select nonprofit every quarter and just do something from there.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll carry for longer than a quarter working with the group, but I'll just like sit on their marketing chair, so like sit on their board, help with marketing, donate some time or services.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And that always seems to reciprocate itself with networking and things like that. But yeah, man, you're on the right path, man. I didn't even realize you said you're 23?
Yeah.
Don't ever let anybody tell you that you lack experience or knowledge because of that. You're an old soul. They tried to sun me throughout my 20s. You know what I mean?
They always try to do that. And I'm like, hell no, talk to me like I'm your equal or get the fuck out of my face, boy.
Yeah. No, if anything, you also have to realize like you come up with a world of technology that sometimes boomers haven't done. You know what I mean? And like, you're not better than them or worse than them. They have a set of skills that we don't have. Yeah, exactly. But, you can't put boomers down for not knowing technology, and they can't put you down for not aging. Stuff definitely comes with age. I'm still young myself as well. But so many people wish they could have spent their 20s doing stuff with their legacy, doing stuff as an entrepreneur. A lot of people spend their times in clubs, on drugs, on alcohol, which is great. Spend your time when you're young, especially if you don't have any kids. But to go and create the legacy, the hard work, and pay your dues and climb those humps early, oh man, you're just cruising the rest of your life, man. So big shout out to what you've been doing.
Thank you so much. I have a really bit, like, back to that whole impact and being remembered thing. I have a huge thing about me where I like paying your dues, like that. I love that. I love it. Like, I want to work my butt off so that I've earned some respect. I've circulated my work into the community. I've empowered people, helped them create businesses. A business isn't just a business. It's a family. You know what I mean? There's a family and people behind that, humans. And humans struggle. Businesses struggle. Like, there's some businesses that made it out of COVID. There's some businesses that doubled and tripled and quadrupled in size during COVID or more. There's all kinds of different stuff. And someone that I've been in the face of people that were experiencing homelessness 6 months ago, they said, when they were in front of my face and they're coordinating events and all kinds of different stuff, they were just sleeping in a car. You know what I mean? Like, you never know who you're talking to. So sometimes it's just about being like super respectful and super, considerate and understanding and patient. Because whether you're the strongest person in the room or the weakest person in the room, like, you just want to be considerate, man, because you never really know what's going on. And to a certain extent, don't let people tell you shit, man. You know, like you got your own story to tell, and there's a reason why you feel that tension in your chest when they said something or whatever. That's your gut telling you to say something or to get out of a situation or whatever. Don't sit on your hands with that. You have a story to tell. You deserve to be there just as much as anyone else does. So,
yeah, man. Big proponent of equality and stuff like that, and mindset, knowing that you're not better than anyone else, but you deserve just as much as everyone else.
Like, huge. Keep it down. The neighbor next door might have a problem. Okay, well, I might have a problem if the neighbor next door has a problem because I want to have fun and I pay to be here just like you do. You know what I mean? So stuff like that.
It's duality. My neighbors play music super late. I go to bed at like 10:30. I'm in bed early and I'm up super early, but at the same time, I know at 7 a.m. when I want to bump some trap because I'm getting ready to throw a logo on or whatever.
I thought you were gonna look at me crazy because we were listening to like some Lil Wayne and Rick Ross and all kinds of shit, like 21 Savage. I was gonna look at you crazy? Yeah, because it was mad loud and like I don't know. My girlfriend hates it.
Do I come off as that professional?
No, you are professional, but I don't know. So, sometimes everyone's different, like I said. So I just do me. That's what I would have done. That's what I do. So that's what I did. You know.
So I want to tell you, and we'll start to land the plane. But I want to tell you a quick story. I was networking a lot in my 20s, and at the same time, I was putting out music. I was putting out rap, and I was working with rappers to put out mixtape covers and stuff like that. And somebody had said to me, you know who you are. Shout out to you, man. You're some of the best advice you ever gave me. But they said my portfolio was too hip hop for the room, that nobody was really interested in my style of stuff like that, and I should look to get towards more corporate stuff. So I thought, okay, this is me, this is my style, but this is honest feedback. So let me see what I can do. And I've always tried to mix in a little bit of corporate stuff. There's a reason why it works, but I kept doing the nightlife flyers. About a year later, I was in a networking group that I had went to, I just had an argument about why are you doing all these networking groups? I'm like, my time is coming, I'm standing next to a guy and he owns a media buying group. And I introduced myself to him. I introduced myself to his wife, and I'm showing his wife some of the stuff that I do. And I get a call like a day or two after the meeting, like, hey, I just closed a deal with Sands Event Center. This was what used to be Wind Creek.
Used to be the casino.
We want to have you, my wife actually said you should throw your name in the hat for it. So I bid against, 6 or 8 other designers. And it was like a Friday like this. I just had time. I knocked it out in about 8 hours one day. I knocked out the concept, sent it back. But long story short, I got the job. And the reason why they said they went with me was because of my background in the nightlife. The Sands audience was baby boomers and college kids nightlife. That was what their stuff wanted. So they had actively sought out my brand and my style. That
just staying true to who you are.
Everything was corporate from then on because I was able to show them, look, I've worked on a global brand. Like I was in my 20s and stuff, but that switched for me. It was like, you're going to respect me. You're going to respect my craft, and I did dial back some of you can't just go and make everything hip hop and corporate. Like even mainstream hip hop has a very clean, polished look to it. I think of like Travis Scott or something like that. Like there's I hate when they call it urban, but there's an urban style, and you figure out where you want to go and what makes you feel good and what community you got into to help and to start with from the same. But yeah, man, just be yourself. Long story short.
Absolutely. Unapologetically you. Mm-hmm. Because no one else can do it like you. No one else is you. So do you.
Well, I say we throw on some Lil Wayne or some Kanye. I don't know. Is Kanye canceled?
I don't think so. I still listen to Kanye. He's a little crazy, but he's been through a lot.
He's been through a whole lot. Oh, man. We could do a whole other episode on Kanye.
He's also a genius, so give Kanye his credit.
It's messed up. it's messed up, man. Like we'll have a whole other, maybe in mental health we'll do something on.
Yeah,
like, I feel bad for Kanye's story. I feel like he doesn't feel, I don't know if he's just totally against medicine or if he feels like he can't create without it or what, but I don't know. But hey, man, this has been I Will Not Lose podcast, where we prove out the set that everything is learned from failure. We must recognize it as one step closer to success. Hope you enjoyed our hour with Carter McKinney, entrepreneur, photographer, philanthropist, legend, man. Legacy in the making. Legacy in the making. So the QR code will show up if you want to support the show. If not monetarily, you can always like, share, comment. You have no idea how much even just recommending this show to somebody else goes. Thank you for listening.
Yes.
Thank you for listening to another episode of I Will Not Lose podcast. To support the show, visit iwillnotlosepodcast.com. You can subscribe to your favorite podcast player, share the episode link, leave a comment. Your contribution is greatly appreciated. And if you're listening in and can't see the QR code for donation, go to tothedesigner.com/links, and there's instructions to donate up there. Thanks so much.